Yo! Hi guys, it's Inam4 here with the Samsung Galaxy Note 3. We're going to be doing a screen comparison with the Sony Xperia Z, the HTC One and the Apple iPhone 5. Beginning from the left, we have the 5.7-inch Super AMOLED capacitive touchscreen of the Note 3 with a density of 386 pixels per inch. Next, we have the Sony Xperia Z with a 5-inch TFT screen which brings up a pixel density of 441 pixels per inch. Next, we have the HTC One's 4.7-inch Super LCD 3 capacitive touchscreen with a density of 469 pixels per inch. And finally, along the right-hand side, we have the Apple iPhone 5's 4-inch LED backlit IPS LCD capacitive touchscreen with a pixel density of 326 pixels per inch. Now, with the exception of the iPhone, the Note 3, the Xperia Z and the HTC One all have full HD screens with a resolution of 1920 by 1080, whereas the iPhone 5 has a Retina display with a resolution of 1136 by 640. Just to give you an idea, we've switched off all power saving modes on each and every handset. Their displays have been set to their standard default settings. I will point out that the Sony Xperia Z does have the Bravia Engine 2 enabled, and what we're going to be doing is having a look at some HD imagery at 50% and 100% brightness settings to see how they compare. The first HD image that we have here is of a Bollywood actress called Tamanna Bhatti and is at 100% brightness and is not zoomed in whatsoever. As you can see, the Sony Xperia Z's TFT screen coupled with the Bravia Engine 2 software being on is giving it an edge over its competitors as it has the image with the most amount of light in it in comparison to the very dark Super AMOLED screen of the Note 3. However, not as dark as the HTC One's Super LCD capacitive touchscreen and of course the Apple iPhone 5, somewhere in between the HTC One and the Note 3. But what we're going to be doing is double tapping, zooming in on each and every device. With more detail within the image, you can see the Xperia Z just showing pure white light on the face and shoulders of this actress in comparison to the remaining devices. But if you zoom all the way in as much as it will allow us to go, that's the Xperia Z. The Note 3 will allow us to go all the way in here, so we'll scale it up to a decent-ish size like so. The HTC One, let's see how far that will only allow us to go in so far, and of course the Apple iPhone 5 nowhere near. That's the most it will allow us to go, so we'll keep that there. Look at the amount of detail on the Super AMOLED screen in terms of the water droplets and the hair follicles along the face here. In comparison, the Sony Xperia Z, the detail is there, but the white light is more overpowering, so you can't see as much. And the HTC One here, being somewhere in between these two devices, the detail is there, but not as great as the Super AMOLED screen. And you can see in this particular scale that the HTC One is pretty dark, especially towards the forehead area. And of course, the Apple iPhone 5 looking more of a natural image, would you say? Going down to 50% brightness across all the devices and all the images look pretty dark. The HTC One though, carrying on the trend as being the darkest. The Sony Xperia Z, more white light across the face than detail itself. And again, the Note 3 being somewhere in between. The Apple iPhone 5, again, looking more natural even at 50% brightness. Is it just me? Let me know in the comment section down below. Mr. Will Smith in full HD and at 100% brightness across all these devices. And it's noticeable, the Sony Xperia Z, the amount of pure white light on his face in comparison to the Super AMOLED and the HTC One's Super LCD 3 screen. I think the HTC One is on a par, if not slightly darker in terms of skin tone than the Super AMOLED screen here, and the Apple iPhone 5 being somewhere in between. We're just going to double tap across all these devices so we get a better look. Up close, the Super AMOLED screen seems to have better skin tones than the remaining devices in my opinion. And with that bigger screen, that amount of detail is absolutely stunning. You can see the individual hair follicles on his face, whereas the Sony Xperia Z just looks like someone's shining a spotlight on his face. And if you look at his mustache there and his beard, looks like he's been drinking milk without wiping his face. The amount of pure whiteness on the screen oversaturating the image, whereas the HTC One again seems to be somewhere in between. Again, the amount of detail is definitely there, but you just have to pinch and zoom a little bit further with that smaller screen. The Apple iPhone 5 again being somewhere in between all these devices, although not having a HD screen, definitely keeping up with the Joneses. And finally, reducing the brightness down to 50% here, you can see the Super AMOLED screen being the brightest one here with the richest skin tone. The Sony Xperia Z, I mean, just look at his forehead, it looks like he's sweating on the Sony Xperia Z, the amount of pure white saturation on his forehead there. And the HTC One looks like it's the darkest one here in terms of brightness and skin tone, and the Apple iPhone 5 again being somewhere in between these devices. And finally, we're going to be playing a full HD movie trailer at 100% brightness across all these devices, and the sound that you're going to be hearing is from the Note 3 only. So I can't play these at the same time, so I'll try my best. And we'll do a quick comparison of movie playback. Look at the different shades of green just in that opening sequence alone there.
You have
That iPhone doesn't seem to be showing the white as pure white in comparison to the remaining devices. And certainly the Sony Xperia Z, if you look at the colour, doesn't seem to be as vibrant as the HTC One or the Super AMOLED screen of the Note 3, but you would expect that. And look at the whites on this particular section. Doesn't seem to be as white on the Apple iPhone5. Certainly that bigger screen makes the video image look awesome. See the greens, did they match up there? Or does the Note 3 oversaturate them? Look at the browns on the boat, not as browny on the Sony Xperia Z. Just more white light as we saw from the still images previously. Apple iPhone 5, when it comes to the faces of the characters, seems to be pretty dark. Even with that green shrubbery that we just saw there, seems to be pretty dark in certain areas. It seems to be very similar with the Super AMOLED screen of the Note 3. But we know that the Super AMOLED screens do produce very dark blacks indeed. Look how bright that gold looked on the Super AMOLED screen. The skin tone definitely more vibrant on the Super AMOLED screen than the Sony Xperia Z. Carrying on the trend from the still images there, with just being more brighter, not more colourful. The white lights, incidentally, on that truck there, even in the dark on the Sony Xperia Z, didn't seem as bright in comparison to the Super AMOLED screen on the Note 3, or even the HTC One's LCD 3 screen. All the screens look very, very good indeed, but I think the HTC One as well as a Super AMOLED screen for myself do stand above the rest. And that was a screen comparison with the Samsung Galaxy Note 3, the HTC One, the Sony Xperia Z and the Apple iPhone 5. As ever, any comments or questions you guys have got, hit them up in the comment section down below there. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video and you like what you saw, and if you haven't already done so, hit subscribe. It's also down there as well. It doesn't cost you a penny, and you can also check out some of our forthcoming videos. Thanks for watching, have a wicked day, and we'll see you next time.